We've been talking about bringing Nobel in to talk to all of you for about 6 months now. And the timing was just perfect. So today we're going to get a deep dive into cryptocurrency security. We were chatting a bit before the call about the timing of this and how awesome it is because, what with the Coinbase IPO, everybody from cab drivers to people working at stores are like, cryptocurrency, it's exciting. What do we do? And my response is, boy, you better get your security right because you don't want to lose your coins. And, just quick, interesting aside, but uptick Security was started actually by a gentleman who lost a fairly significant amount of coin. And after his coins were stolen, he decided, you know what, this is not okay. And I'm going to do everything humanly possible to keep people safe from cyber criminals. And, with that, Nobel, I'll let you begin. And I'll also remind everyone who has not been here before, please send me questions directly in a private chat to me, Mike Skirko. And at the end, I'll have about 15 minutes for Q&A, and we'll roll into that Q&A. When Q&A is finished, for those of you who want to hang out, depending on the time of day where you're at, we'll have a drink, we'll all socialize, kind of like going to the bar, but we'll do it virtually. So with that, Nobel, do you want to go ahead, give us a little bit of background on yourself? And for those of us in the meeting who are new to cybersecurity, if you could just maybe really briefly just explain to us how you got into security in the first place. I think a lot of people who are new to the space would find that interesting. So go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. I mean, first of all, I would like to thank the Silicon Valley chapters. For having me here to share what have I learned throughout my my experience, in this particular industry, as well as the traditional cybersecurity itself. So me myself actually started off as any other, I believe any other cybersecurity professionals, where I jump in with trying to learn security on network parameter devices, like the Cisco firewalls, those kind of Fortinet firewalls, those parameters devices. Then down the road, then I start to venture into malware analysis, website analysis, some small minor penetration testing, sort of. So I spent quite a number of years in companies like F5 and 5i Mandiant, where I lead a team of engineers, looking after the cloud services as well. So I would not say like I'm like at the top of the cybersecurity industry right now, but the reason why I pivot to the crypto currency securities here is due to like what you have shared, Mike. Our founders itself, he actually was a victim of a hacking incident, and that hack actually caused him to lose a significant amount of cryptocurrency. And based on the current value of today valuation, I think that is almost like 15 million worth of US dollars. So that's a significant amount that he actually lost due to the hack itself. And of course he spent he himself is a cybersecurity professional, so he intend to find out like what happened to him. Once he actually gone through all his motions, everything, to find out what happened, and he decided to start this company. Try to provide the same. He's trying to come up with a solution to fix the problem that actually he has faced due to the hack. So with this, I would like to share my screens. Okay, I hope you guys can able to see my PowerPoint slide now. Okay, you guys can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Evan. Okay, so I think today will be like I'll be sharing like my thoughts, my what we actually have found out in this crypto asset industry itself, where a lot of people say crypto assets is Bitcoin. No, actually it's not. Actually it's actually larger than that. There's other crypto asset that I'll be actually referring to later on. And before we actually dive into the security aspect of like the crypto asset and what's going on with it, I'll probably like talk a bit about the current state itself, and by looking at the macroeconomic of crypto assets. So why do I like want to show this number here? No, right now the crypto asset market capitalizations is almost worth like close to 2 trillion US dollars. And as you can notice on the graph itself, starting like on year 2019 May, where actually it start to pick up significantly. Like there's a lot of retail users and companies are really coming in, trying to look into this particular asset itself. But actually, how does 1.9 trillion US dollar actually looks like? I mean, physically, I do not know, because there's no way for me to find out like physically how does a 1.9 trillion US dollar actually looks like. But I would just like give a representations in the value of other companies itself. So let's say like the whole community of crypto as investors of crypto asset decided, let's say we'll go out, let's use our cryptocurrency and go out there and buy some companies. And I would say that the total capitalizations of crypto asset now is able to acquire these couple of finance and banking companies itself, and it's like roughly about 1.6 trillion dollars over here, and we still have some change. So the reason why I'm showing these figures here is to try to let you to share that why this particular crypto asset is so enticing and why people are jumping in, because there is some value in it, and there's a lot of people now are recognizing the value itself of the cryptocurrencies. And throughout my experience, providing our services to our customers and our analysis of the market itself, how does this market actually grows to such a size? There's a couple of things over here. So first thing first, of course, we are getting acceptance. Not we, I mean the market are getting acceptance from the public itself. So especially in the group of millennials. So millennials are probably those folks that actually are born after 1980. And right now they are probably in the age group where they have a good career and they have a lot of earning powers and spending powers. So for them, they are actually looking for alternative like of investment and how to grow their personal net worth. So that is I mean, crypto asset is another alternative for them to make those investment. And of course, for more, I mean, I assume like perhaps some of you guys have probably heard of these words itself, fear of missing out. So people are talking like what might have shared, Coinbase have went public, oh, what do we do? Do we like invest the company? Words of mouth are being passing around. People are being hearing about it. Okay, no, Bitcoin has increased like X amount of value in days. So people are getting the noise, and more people are actually jumping in just to take a piece of the pie itself. Of course, the crypto asset is actually just a store of value at this point in time, but the increase in value actually is somehow able to offset the inflations. I mean, a lot of us know that by putting your hard-earned cash in the banks, doesn't earn you enough interest to actually overcome the inflation in current world itself. Of course, we have recognition coming from global businesses, like what have I put up over here on the right. Here, Visa, Mastercards, they actually have like providing services related to cryptocurrencies, MicroStrategy, Squares, they actually buy or invest in cryptocurrencies as investments. PayPal's, they also providing checkout services using cryptos. Of course, one that actually I like the most is, Tesla actually accepting Bitcoins as a payment for buying their cars, their EV. And one thing here is the potential high investment returns. It's very clear to us that cryptocurrency carry a very high risk, but somehow here the investment itself actually, the potential returns actually is, overcome those risks. And there's quite a low entry requirements here for the investors. For example, if you would like to buy a share of Tesla right now, is probably you need to come up like $700 per share, and that doesn't really earn you a lot if you just getting one share or one unit of it, the equity. But for cryptos, you can actually you can choose to purchase just a subset of it, even though right now Bitcoin is worth 50,000 itself. We can just buy one small chunk of it. And of course, we know blockchain is a technology that allow people to have some incognito, not to let people know that you actually transferring your asset from one point to one point. And last, of course, is the next generation of currency, digital currency itself. And we all know this because we have been seeing in news a lot of nation states have decided to introducing their own central bank digital currency. And one of it, of course, is I think we can see in the daily news in China. There are a couple of issues that we think that need to be addressed to a certain extent before the crypto asset become more mainstream. But right now, it's actually quite well recognized throughout the world. But there are certain issues here need to be addressed for them to be used in our daily life. So first thing is the issue of inheritance. The blockchain technology itself operates in the keys, the key itself. So by holding the private keys means you own the asset. But in the situation where if someone actually hold the keys that actually lost it, or the person actually have passed away, how does this key actually get transferred to the next person? So that's a question has been brought up, but that's not really a good solution to it. I think probably folks are not considering of handing over the asset as a crypto asset, using the crypto asset at this point in time. Of course, that's the reason here today. I mean, security risks. So what are the security risks that we are actually facing due to crypto asset? Of course, ransomware, crypto jacking. And with the introduction of this new asset class, I know that there are a lot of new financial crime actually has been coming up that actually targeting these particular industries where there's a lot of fraud, scams, fake investments. Where this is the problem that our organization is trying to solve, where we are trying to prevent the person to become a victims of these financial crimes. And just to share some numbers on the investigation that we have been carrying out over here. So we have our organization has been providing some service the services in Korea, so South Korea. So South Korea is one of the nations that is having a lot of activities in crypto assets. And this number actually runs from last year April all the way until I think this year April as well for a year. So for a year, we also we actually have received like almost like 500 cases where the victim actually come to us telling us, I have been a victim of a particular financial crimes, and this is how it happens. And from here we can see like the total value that has been involved is like almost like $103 million. And what are the tabulations of all the loss that has been occurring over here, the type of tokens, and what are the tokens that has been involved in most of the cases. And from here, what we can see is that a lot of cases actually happen in the larger city, like the city itself is a Seoul, and most victims are actually in the younger group, which is actually most of them are in the millennium age, which is 30 to 39. And a lot of the victim, how they actually lost the crypto assets is because they actually unknowingly actually share their private keys. And this private key is just a string of alphabets and numbers, and if anyone actually got into this key, they actually can make a transactions and out of your wallets, and here they can actually transfer out all the assets. So so while we really know that the macroeconomics of the crypto assets and the problems surrounding it, actually there are some very good use case of crypto assets, and that's the reason why the nation state are actually looking into this technology and try to implement it in their own nations. And over here is actually one of the top use case I would consider right now, which is the cross-border payments. And the reason is because traditional telegraphic transfers from banks to banks will take at least like 2 or 3 days. I mean, I believe that's the fastest. But comparing to a blockchain network, where even the slowest network right now, you will need takes less than 30 minutes to approve the transactions. And the best part with blockchain itself is actually can be is programmable. You can input certain functions into it to see that if a transfer address that is belong to this address, just block it, just terminate the transaction, because that address is considered as a high risk, and or it actually has been blacklisted, or is actually been sanctioned. And all these can be generated on demand and input into the blockchains as what we call contracts. And contracts is where it's a series of codes that actually determine what action to be taken if certain condition has been made. And of course here, the blockchain transaction actually is considered having a lower transaction fee comparing to the traditional banking transfer. And over here actually is the visual graph here is an actual case of transaction happening between Singapore and Canada. So the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, actually conduct a test together with Bank of Canada, where actually they make a transfer of funds using the HTLC, which is the hash time lock contract. So what this does is, as what I mentioned, is just as what we call smart contract, where we input a series of action to be taken within a specific time, and as long the condition is met, the asset will be transferred from the bank A to bank B or vice versa. And matter of fact, actually, the blockchain technology or the crypto asset actually is a very good anti-money laundering tracking systems, because it's actually using a ledger and all transaction is being captured. And traditional banking system right now is still not very effectively preventing money laundering per se, because for example, Westpac banks was fined by the authority because they actually breached the money laundering laws, more than 23 millions occurrence. So there are like 23 millions of money transfer in and out Westpac bank related to money laundering. And the good part is that any transaction that happen in the blockchain can be retrieved and can be seen, and it can be traced. Of course, blockchain is just a technology that can be configured, can be programs. So during the implementations, of course, if a nations that actually decided to implement their digital currency right now, they probably will just make it a private chain where information are not available to the public. And of course, one of the I would say a formal right now, which is the digitization of physical asset. So what it means that people are actually giving a digital identity to their physical asset, or actually converting their some form of the arts like music, arts into a series of code, and those series of code are being put into the crypto asset. So this is what we call in the crypto assets, we call it tokenizations. And there's few good thing about it, like for example, we can reduce forging, prevent impersonations, and most important is like this is like so-called certifications of the ownership. So and if there's any transfer of the asset, everything can be verified on the blockchain itself, and it will give you like historical valuations instead of you trying to guess like how much is it worth right now. Okay, when a new technology such as blockchain actually came, although it has its own use case of cryptocurrencies, but it also carries some high risk here, which actually has quite a significant impact on our security itself. And first of foremost is that prior to the crypto asset, the darknet transaction is mainly carried out in money transfers using probably some of the payment services. But with the introductions of blockchains and crypto assets, darknet has actually changed the way of they actually doing businesses. So I would say like based on our investigation, 99% of all the services that is provided in the darknet are actually using cryptocurrencies. And mainly is they're actually using two type of currency at this point in time. One is the Bitcoins, and the second one is a privacy coin, which is called Monero. And there's a reason for them to use it, because for blockchains, we can see all the transactions, but are we able to give identity to all the recipients or the senders? Right now is no, I would say, but it can be done, but it requires some efforts by doing analysis, to capture the transactions, to identify where it goes, which is what my organization is doing right now. But by using the crypto asset, all these darknet service provider or seller, or the stuff that they're actually selling in the darknet, they actually can hide their identity. If they are coming from a sanctioned countries, they can avoid it. And the best part is, this cryptocurrency can be cashed out into various fiat per se, and you can be cashing out in any other countries that if you have they actually manage to get a banking account. And and of course, it's hard for the authority to trace the transactions. Of course, earlier I have mentioned that the crypto asset out of the blockchain is a very good anti-money laundering systems. But it also having a problem right now, which is being used as a money laundering, which is weird at this point in time. But there are a few reasons for so, because first, of course, the authority are not actually able to step in to circumvent the money laundering, because a lot of these crypto asset transfer actually is cross border. It's like going from nation A to nation B, and for them to come together, I think there are some political play in place where the nation A has to collaborate with nation B, which is a very hard thing to achieve sometimes. And a lot of these crypto asset service provider, they are not having a very good KYC or AML systems comparing to the banks, where that they are having tons of transactions coming in, but they only can do so much to make sure they do not receive any illicit fundings. And one thing here is so easy to swap the crypto asset. People can actually exchange bitcoins to Ethereums or Ethereums to Monero within the service provider itself, and by doing that, they really actually cover the tracks. They actually cover the origin of how they actually getting the illicit tokens or illicit crypto assets. The visual here is a typical flow, how money laundering is being conducted by using the crypto assets. It's very similar to what we have been seeing in the traditional banking. So this is quite a similar method they have been using in the crypto asset as well. So I'll be just going through like some of the techniques or that we actually uncover and we found that actually quite effective, that actually used by these actors to gain the asset from the victims. One of the techniques that we have seen so far is paste jacking or clipboard jacking. What this technique does is that when this series of codes actually runs, anything that you copy and paste can be modified when you're trying to paste it over to any websites or any application that you are using. And the thing why this is effective is that the victims actually can be affected when he actually just visiting some website, or actually he unintentionally download some extensions or applications that actually have this function embedded. And this picture that I'm seeing here, or these codes that I'm sharing here, is actually actual codes that we actually seen in one of the browser extensions, where they are doing keyboard jacking. And one of the most common method that is being used, of course, like phishing website and applications. Of most of the time, this method actually are being used together with typo squatting. Typo squatting is just a way that they representing the domain using probably a double byte characters, or they're making a small change to the domain name to look as similar as possible as the origin website. So you can see that on the right here where I show you there's two domain here which is called citibank.coms, and two of them is quite very similar. But if you would not take a closer look itself, actually the one at the top has a double byte characters, whereas if you would encode it and as what we call the puny codes, and it will become another different domains. And here actually there's two website where I'm showing here is looking exactly the same, where the phishing site is just totally copy whatever the origin site is having. And if the victim doesn't take a closer look, they might actually don't know that they actually have visited a phishing website. And most of the time, this website actually what they do is that they will ask the user to input their own credentials. And of course, for the crypto asset, they will ask them, you need to input your private keys to enable the services. So this is where most of the victim actually lost their asset, because they actually share their private keys in this kind of this phishing website. And a way where another method where usually has been done by the hackers is they actually doing a targeted attack on the service provider, the crypto asset service provider, and then this is where they actually have the largest damage or the largest transfer out of these organizations. And they are actually quite very selective, and they know that what are the systems these services provider are using. Potentially they are using some white label solutions, and this all white label solution is being used throughout all the other service provider as well. So if they actually can have a vulnerabilities that actually works and in this service provider A will actually works in the service provider B as well. So, and over here that we can see, I'm sharing like some of the incidents that actually happened throughout the years, where started with Mt. Gox, where like 400 over millions, bitcoins was stolen, and to like Cryptopia, which Cryptopia is a service provider, a crypto asset service provider in Australia, where the whole their whole store of value actually has been emptied out, and they actually have had to liquidate their businesses. And there's one method over here that is being used by the penetrator, but it's very rare, and it requires like a sophisticated methods to hijack the domain. It has happened once where the DNS services was being hijacked and is being routed to a phishing site where the user actually input the correct domain, but somehow is the content that has been coming back to the user actually is a phishing site. It says actually this is very low impact method, and it usually it will be uncovered pretty fast, because due to some of the warning, not most of the browser right now, a lot of browsers will give you the certificate warnings. It's being unmatched. And instead of using system hacking or domain hijacking, so one of the very efficient method as well is where the penetrator is just using social media and messaging applications to perform their scams. They will just approach the victims and tell them, okay, there's this particular investment, do you want to take part, the potential return is quite high, blah blah blah. we might say, that a lot of people shouldn't fall for this kind of scams, but somehow, it's still happening. And the last one that that actually caught the news is that there's this Ponzi scheme which is called Plus tokens, especially running in China, and the total loss of asset is almost close to 3 billions, and like there are almost 2 million victims actually involved in that particular Ponzi schemes itself. And of course, like quite a recent one, I think last year, where Twitter's access was compromised, and all these accounts of influencers or public influencers, they are being used to post a series of a message. So when the public actually saw this, oh, okay, I saw that my influencer was posting that we should be investing on this, but that is fake actually. And of course, I think this visual here is quite familiar to whoever is in the cybersecurity industry, which is the WannaCry. And this is a very I mean, it's quite common, to be honest, and is nowadays ransomware. All the ransom is being asked in cryptocurrencies. So if you got infected with some ransomware, very high chances you'll be getting messages in the ransomware to ask you, you need to pay us this X amount of cryptocurrency. Only then I'll provide the code for you to decrypt the content on your systems. And what we have seen so far, usually that ransomware actually comes hand in hand with data exfiltrations. So they're not just taking away the information from you or from the victims. They actually will log your data and ask the payment for it. And this is something that we quite frequently seeing right now. Okay, and there's one term here where we call cryptojacking. So what it means is that this series of hackers or penetrators, what they do is they will install the mining applications or the mining scripts into your system without your without your authorities, and this will allow them to utilize your system to mine crypto assets, and those assets will actually be transferred to them, and that's where they actually gain the crypto assets illegally. And based on, our investigations or the case that has been reported to us, a lot of these crypto tracking actually are targeting the data center systems, and of course, a large number in the university itself, where the security systems is very lacking. And there's a trend of change where the crypto jacking is really moving to the IoTs, and one of the cases is the magnetic routers out in I think Southern America, if I'm not wrong. Almost 200,000 of magnetic routers were infected with crypto jacking. And the thing with this is that this mining application can be programs where it will be run during the low sections, or the CPU is not being much utilized, and it actually can go dormant when the CPU utilization is high. And I think about 1 year back, and that there's this service provider which is called CoinHive. What they do is they provide a Java applications or that actually runs on the website, and whoever actually visit the website with this JavaScript running, their system will actually be used to do crypto asset mining. And most of the time, this is illegal unless the website actually publish and mentions that we are actually running these scripts. So by visiting us, you agree to the condition that we are using your resources to perform the crypto asset mining. So here, so what does this actually? How does this all impact us throughout our life and our business itself? And for a nation state, there's a very big problem right now, and it's really a huge challenge as well. For example, terrorist funding, and I mean it's very clear to us that terrorists are also using the cryptocurrency as a mean of transactions. They're actually using it to purchase some of the dangerous goods in the darknet. And we have observed that they actually comparing to the pictures that I'm showing where they're so obvious asking for funding, but they have actually changed their modus operandi where they actually create a non-profit organizations, and on the non-profit organization they actually will ask for donations, and these donations later on will be using I mean, they will use the money laundering network in crypto assets to fund their whatever stuff they would like to do. And we also noticed that there's a potential use case where the money that actually the crypto asset that has been gained through the illicit activities such as scams, frauds, or hacking of the service provider, these funds are actually being used for espionage. We have reason to believe so because there's one particular incident that actually happens in Korea, where this particular lady actually is a victim. She actually came to us and said that she has been a victim of a crypto asset where her crypto asset was lost. And throughout the investigation, we found out that she actually has become a mule for money laundering activities. And based on our investigations, we traced the transaction. We found that all the crypto asset that has been stolen actually has came back to the Korea, in the Korea as well. So which is weird because we found that the actors is probably somewhere outside Korea, but somehow the stolen asset was being transferred back into the Korea itself. And of course, there's a challenge here for some of the nations where people are using crypto asset as a store of value right now, and they try to avoid the tax. So I believe a lot of government are working on the solutions to make sure they're able to trace and track all the gains that people are getting from investments on the crypto assets. Organizations wise, we can see that there's a lot of potentials growth by investing, not investing. I mean to participate in this particular asset. And as I mentioned, one of the very good use case of crypto asset is the ability to generate contracts on the fly, and it's all can be programs. And one thing is that there's a challenge, security challenge right now, where a lot of organizations are being targeted, where they are actually running a series of hacks to install the cryptojacking malware into their systems. I think recently we have seen some news on vulnerabilities on the Microsoft Exchange, where it's being used to run a series of crypto mining. Of course, if any organization actually falls into victims of ransomware, is a very high possibility they will be asking the ransom in the form of crypto assets. So there are some cases where the organization actually pay for the ransoms, but what actually comes after that? Would they actually able to follow the tracks, try to determine where their payment actually goes to? So traditional cybersecurity vendor are not able to do that at this most of the time. I say they are looking more towards preventing the ransomware from happening. But what if the ransom has been paid? So how does he actually follow the track? So that is something that we are doing right now. And of course, how it impact us as individuals. One of one thing that is always in my mind that especially related to ransomware is the incidents of WannaCry, where they actually affected the community service provider like the hospitals, where life are in danger. And if the system are being locked down, they're potentially to cause some loss. And this is something that we really want to prevent from happening. And of course, there are a lot of individuals that we know that they are unknowingly become a meal for money laundering. And what happened here is that this series of penetrators, they will approach the victim and ask them, okay, I have a business proposition here where can you register for a banking account, or can you register for a service on this particular service crypto exchanges? And in returns that I will actually give you some cuts of the transaction that I perform. And this is actually happening in some of the investigation cases that actually we carry out. And this is where the money laundering actually has been rampantly occurring in some of the cases that we are investigating. Okay, I think that's probably all the stuff that I want to share with all the folks out here now. So I probably will hand it over back to Mike